There is another product that I would like to show it over here. This was again completely different gadget. Here we are using Xbox, and you can see that one of my colleague is actually with just hand gestures, he is manipulating 3D model, and that 3D model is there in the virtual world. So live streaming is going on and he registers it. Once he gets the grab of it, then actually with just moving his hand, he can actually rotate it, he can scale it, and he can put it in any position. He can assemble, disassemble, all those things that he can do. So this is another application. So once again, I am not showing you the finished product, but the idea over here is just to convey the idea that now let's come back to Unity. Why we are actually banking on Unity? As I was talking about, there were lots of other game engines that we have seen. Game engine actually gives you an opportunity that you can actually club and create your 3D content. So Unity is one of the best engine where there is a huge market share. It is dominating the total industry. By 40% of developers are working on this thing. So that's why lots of other SDK companies also, they are opening and trying and competing with each other by creating an SDK for Unity, which will run with the Unity. There are some other game engines also which allows you this kind of like this path where you can come up with augmented reality. But currently we are banking mainly on Unity. So Unity is having in a global game market, it is 45%, and it is the closest competitor, never reach actually, doesn't come near to him, near to Unity product. It is just 70%. So can you go to the next slide? So again, Unity dominates the tools market also, where Unity means in comparison with all the other Cocos and Adobe Air and Unreal Engine, it has gone way ahead, because it has got its open architecture, open philosophy that actually develop once and deploy anywhere. That means it has got actually 17 different platforms you can publish the same content. Suppose if you have developed that particular product in Unity, then you can actually put it virtually put it with some mere changes onto iOS, V, Xbox, BlackBerry, PC web is there, Linux is also there. So this was another advantage to work with Unity. So these are some kind of like points that I have just written it down why we are using Unity, because it's not only for games. Once again, I would like to stress it over here that game development is not the only avenue. There are lots of other avenues which are available. By using Unity, you can come up with these kind of like interactive environments, some kind of like gaming applications. It's very easy, and multiple platform output, as I was talking about. There is virtually no restriction on mobile. You have got that base version Unity, where you can get that base version, develop all the things, and you can port also. And on your Android platform, there is no limitation at all. So augmented reality, the stuff that we have seen over there, you can actually make it for free. So there is no initial cost involved in it. Then you can interact, you can integrate Rift, Kinect, Emotive and Epoch, as I was talking about, like lots of other gadgets that are available to develop virtual reality systems. It actually supports Unity. So from where you can create all your contents. Obviously, your 3D content developer software, something like Max, Maya, Blender, it can take all that information and then you can add lots of interactivity. Programming part you can do it in there, and you can take it further from there. Then the community is very, very important, because suppose you've stuck up with that particular thing, as somebody was talking about, like there is some, he has worked on say Augur or some other API. Now what happens? Suppose if you get stuck up with some kind of like open framework system, you hardly get any kind of like feedback, and there is nobody to take responsibility that if you got stuck up, I will provide you some kind of like software patch. Or suppose if artist gets stuck up that I am unable to get some kind of like tool which is easily available in some other thing. So Actually, there is a huge active community, millions of developers are there. So the moment you are actually putting up a question out there on the blog, you will get many replies. In fact, it happened with me also. Like I was stuck up with some few other things, and I put it onto that thing, and within a day or so, there were 3 different replies with the 3 different options. So and I can manage my deadline with the use of this community. So thousands of models and scripts and plugins are available on the asset store. This is run by Unity itself. So this is very important that they are taking care of their user base, and they are actually making all these things very, very easy for their developers to come up with this thing. So all that nitty-gritties they have taken onto their shoulder, and Unity means, and the developer is just bothered about like how can I come up with my product. So he don't have to bother about that how can I go with and tinker with the system, but he is only bothered about my product and my development. That's it. So again, a nice combination with 3D environment and scripting. Next slide. Now coming back to augmented reality, how does it actually work? I'll not go into the too much technical details, but basically I will just give an overview that it gets tracking. As I was talking about, like tracking is very, very important, that where that object, where you are. So there are, as you can see, that GPS, compass, gyro and accelerometer. You have got that kind of information. Like suppose if you are moving out, if I'm here at Baner, now my GPS information, I can track it, and you can actually extract that information and put it into your product. That this guy tweeted from say Baner and delivering some session, or engage here with at CMedu, so which can be tweeted to all of your friends. So these kind of like GPS information, compass information is also there. Then the next thing that comes to the marker, which is some kind of like scientific word, is fiduciary, which is quite intimidating, but simply it's something like nothing but your logo, that suppose say logo or say some kind of like image that is tracked by a camera. Now it doesn't actually goes through your pixel by pixel, but actually it converts all that image into its understandable format. So this SDKs, they convert your trackable marker into that code, and for every frame it try to search that particular whether that object is there in that vision or not. So that is nothing but marker. So NFT, that is nothing but 2D images, and pre-trained. Pre-trained means it might be having some kind of like intelligence that how to work with that thing. Then cloud recognize. Now right now I was showing that there is marker, it should be available over here and predetermined. So I had to upload it. Now suppose if you want to go out and check whether that information is available or not, then you can actually put all the markers just beforehand, like wherever you can see the MACD's store, it will just check with that logo, and whenever you come across that particular thing, it will show you all the information. So this you can put it on the cloud, and actually online you can check it. Then again 3D pre-trained point cloud. So suppose if you want to actually move and in 3D space, there are 3D point cloud also can be created. Okay, let's not go into the technical details about it. Basically you can actually track your face, fingers and body also, so that whenever you are actually going on say video chat, you can actually replace your face also, so that the person in front of you will feel like his completely a different identity you can show. So this way there are lots of applications that are already available in the market, and people are still enhancing that particular thing. So this was about augmented reality, but there are lots of challenges. Like challenges, something like suppose if you are having particular marker, and if your lighting condition is not good enough, then it becomes quite a difficult task for camera and algorithm to track it. So what happens is that whatever the computer graphics that you are actually putting and merging online compositing with that image, that becomes flicker, because sometimes at one frame it understands that that product is already there, that pattern is there, and on another frame it doesn't understand it, so it becomes flickering. So image distortion. Suppose if I am wearing that logo on my t-shirt, now it gets crumpled, or suppose if you are using a paper that gets crumpled, then again it becomes very, very difficult task to recognize that particular pattern. So it gives you a flickering output. Then latency. Latency is nothing but whenever user actually does something and the virtual reality means virtual environment has to give kind of like feedback. So there is some kind of like time lag that is called as a latency. So this latency might be because of say hardware issues or software issues. So with the advent of technology, you might get some kind of like refinement on the algorithm. So because of that, what happens is that you start feeling motion sickness, because what happens is your body is hardwired with your brain. So whenever you are actually rotating your head, your actually brain expects that there is some kind of like updation. But if you don't get it, then the whole your biological system actually just denies, and their kind of like motion sickness comes into picture. Sometimes it becomes like fatigue, your headache starts, and some kind of like eye strain also you get. So these kind of like challenges are there. Then if your display resolution is not good enough, means because you have to process this information over the on say 640 by 480 pixels and with 30 frames per second, it's quite, so it becomes quite a difficult task to process, and on the top of it you are merging and compositing and so many other stuff are going on. So the display resolution, if it is not good enough, then again it seems somewhat ineffective, because the background is too fictitious or not real, and the computer graphics is very, very real. So over there it becomes quite a like the product becomes quite jerky.